I used to work the overnight shift at a small gas station off Route 17 in northern Pennsylvania. It was one of those places surrounded by miles of woods with almost no houses nearby. During the day, it was normal enough. Truckers, locals, teenagers buying snacks. But after midnight, the place felt isolated from the rest of the world. The owner, Rick, warned me during my first week that weird things happened out there at night. I assumed he meant drunks or thieves. I laughed it off. I stopped laughing after my third week. The station had huge windows facing the highway, and behind the building was nothing but dense forest stretching for miles. We also had this old security room with black and white camera feeds that flickered constantly. Around 1:30 every morning, I'd hear tapping on the back dumpster gate. Not loud banging, just slow metallic tapping. I checked it several times and never found anything. Eventually, I started ignoring it. One rainy Thursday night, the power flickered during a storm. The lights dimmed for maybe 2 seconds before the generator kicked in. That's when I noticed something standing near the tree line behind the pumps. At first, I thought it was a person. It was tall, way too tall. Its arms hung nearly to the ground, thin like branches. Even from a distance, I could tell something about its proportions was wrong. It stood completely still in the rain, facing the gas station. I remember this horrible feeling settling in my stomach before I even understood why I was scared. I locked the front doors immediately. The thing didn't move for almost 10 minutes. I watched it through the windows while pretending to organize cigarettes behind the counter. Every time lightning flashed, I could see it more clearly. Its skin looked dark and stretched tightly over its body, and its head tilted at an unnatural angle. I called Rick and asked if anyone was messing around outside. He got quiet for a second and asked me one question. Is it near the trees? The way he said it made my chest tighten. I told him yes. He said, "Don't go outside. If it comes closer, shut off the lights." Then he hung up. About 15 minutes later, a pickup truck pulled into the station. Relief hit me instantly. A middle-aged guy stepped out, wearing a hunting jacket, and walked to the door, confused why it was locked. I unlocked it fast and practically pulled him inside. He noticed my expression immediately and asked if I was okay. I told him there was something outside, near the woods. He looked through the windows and laughed nervously. Probably a deer. Then, lightning flashed again. The smile disappeared from his face. The thing had moved closer without either of us noticing. It now stood beside pump number 4. Its arms dangled below its knees, fingers long and thin like spider legs. Its eyes reflected white in the darkness, and its mouth looked stretched open too wide, full of jagged teeth. The hunter whispered, "What the hell is that?" Neither of us spoke after that. The creature slowly tilted its head toward the building, not like a curious animal, more like it was studying us. Then it smiled. I know how stupid that sounds, but it did. Its mouth widened slowly, exposing rows of uneven teeth, while saliva dripped onto the pavement. The hunter backed away from the windows immediately. "Call the cops," he said. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped my phone. I dialed 911 and tried explaining what we were seeing, but halfway through the call, the power went out completely. Everything went black. The only light came from occasional flashes of lightning outside. Then came the tapping. Tap, tap, tap. Not on the dumpster this time. On the front glass. The hunter and I both froze. The thing was right outside the door. I couldn't fully see it in the darkness, only its outline pressed against the glass. Its head nearly touched the top of the doorway. Long claws scraped slowly across the surface, making this awful screeching sound. The dispatcher kept asking if I was there, but I couldn't answer. Then the creature spoke. Not clearly, not like a person. It mimicked. In this raspy, wet voice, it repeated something I'd said earlier that night to a customer. Have a good night. The hunter grabbed my shoulder so hard it hurt. Don't talk to it, he whispered. The thing kept scratching the glass. Then it suddenly crouched low enough for its face to press directly against the window. I wish I'd never seen it up close. Its eyes were completely white, glowing faintly in the dark. The skin around its mouth looked torn open permanently, like the smile had split its face apart. Water dripped from its teeth as it stared directly at me. Then it started laughing. Not a human laugh. It sounded like multiple voices trying to laugh at once. The dispatcher finally heard the noise through my phone and started yelling for us to stay inside because officers were on the way. That's when the creature disappeared. Not ran, not walked. It moved so unnaturally fast that it looked like a blur vanishing around the side of the building. A second later, we heard crashing sounds from the back storage room. The hunter swore loudly and chambered around into the rifle he'd left leaning near the counter. I remember yelling that guns probably wouldn't help, but honestly, I didn't know what else we could do. The noise stopped. Complete silence filled the station. Then came another voice from the hallway leading to storage. My voice. Can you help me back here? The hunter looked horrified. It repeated louder this time. Please help me. The thing was copying me perfectly now. Every instinct in my body screamed not to move, but the storage room door slowly creaked open by itself. The hallway beyond was pitch black. Then we heard dragging footsteps. Slow, wet. Something tall ducked beneath the doorway at the end of the hall. The hunter fired instantly. The gunshot deafened me. The muzzle flash.
Then the lights came back on. The hallway was empty. No blood, no creature, nothing. The hunter started breathing hard, looking around frantically. We need to leave. But before we could move, every cooler door in the store slammed open at once. The sound echoed through the station. Then all the lights exploded. Glass rained everywhere. The creature dropped from the ceiling directly onto the hunter. I barely had time to react. It moved like a spider, limbs twisting around him while he screamed and fired wildly. I saw its claws sink into his shoulders before both of them crashed into the shelves. I ran. I hate admitting that, but I did. I bolted into the office and locked the door behind me while hearing those horrible screams continue outside. Then suddenly stop. I crouched beneath the desk, shaking uncontrollably while trying to stay quiet. The security monitor still worked somehow, flickering with static. One camera showed the main store area. The hunter was gone. Only blood remained near the shelves. Then, the camera glitched. The creature appeared inches from the lens, staring directly into it with that impossible smile. The monitor cut to static. A few seconds later, I heard slow footsteps outside the office door. Scratch. Scratch. Its claws dragged across the metal. Then came the hunter's voice. Help me. I started crying right there under the desk because I knew it wasn't him anymore. The voice became angrier. Open the door! The entire door suddenly dented inward from something slamming against it. Again. 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 The metal warped with each hit. I genuinely thought I was about to
die in that room. Then distant sirens echoed from the highway. Everything stopped instantly. The footsteps disappeared. By the time police entered the station, the creature was gone. So was the hunter. They searched the woods for hours and never found him. No body, no tracks, nothing. I quit the next morning. A week later, I went back during daylight to pick up my final paycheck. Rick looked exhausted, like he hadn't slept in days. Before I left, I finally asked him what that thing was. He stared at me for a long time before answering. "You saw the smiling man."
I waited for him to explain further, but he just shook his head. Then he told me something that still keeps me awake at night. That wasn't the first time it came to the station. Apparently, 3 workers had disappeared there over the last 20 years. All overnight employees. All during storms. And every single one reported hearing tapping behind the building before they vanished. The gas station closed permanently 6 months later after another employee disappeared during a night shift. Sometimes I still think about the hunter, about the way his voice sounded outside that office door. But the worst part is this. About 3 months ago, I woke up around 2 a.m. to a faint metallic tapping outside my apartment window. Slow. Patient. Tap. Tap.